shot repeatedly, then get their dead body given to a random stranger.
So XP is gonna get hit.
Tell someone else.
I'm sending every pedophile to your house, bro.
The gun from the throat, which was still in there the whole time, and starts raping the dead body until eventually it runs a damn dumpster.
Alright, XP. So we're gonna all agree to do that to Plus, right? We're all gonna agree to do what Plus said to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, this is why the free main Windows is unstoppable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kill all pluses.
Okay, that actually sounds racist to algebraic kind. You're about to die within the next 5 days.
No, you
Plus,
can't.
do you want proof? Plus, do you want proof?
Bro muted me.
Do you want
Okay.
proof?
Okay, Vista got a point there. You cannot travel.
Plus, do you want to go into a private call so I can show you the proof? Because I have the proof he did that shit. And it's traumatizing.
Yes, it is, and I'm about to do it in real life.
Hey, he said that he's about to do it to you in real life, Plus.
That's fucking crazy.
She's gonna get traumatized. Bro. She's actually gonna get traumatized. It's gonna be
I'm not sure if trauma is funny. I'm not sure if trauma is funny, but okay.
Man, fuck you.
Just for saying that trauma isn't funny.
Man, fuck you. Man, fuck you.
Okay.
Do you like crashing out? What?
Nah.
You don't like crashing out? Okay. Do you like funk?
Vista! What the fuck?
You don't like funk? What's wrong with you? What?
Alright, Plus, did you see the...
Explain to me right now.
I did not even draw that, Plus. I promise you on my...
I was bored.
Explain to me right now what the fuck is this?
I still remember Vista... Vista drawing it. I remember Vista drawing it in a private call, like back in September.
Yeah, I was bored. Don't mind it. Yeah, I was bored.
Vista, why'd you draw that and not have the audacity to tell me?
Wait, plus XP wants to jerk off to that.
Well, no, I'm just saying. Why did?
Oh, and guess what? Plus, he made it because of this specific image you made right here. He made it because of that specific image.
Yeah, I was bored. So yeah.
Dog.
I was totally bored.
Vista.
What?
Hold up, stream. I'm gonna be right back.
The actual fuck.
Wait a minute. XP's been streaming.
Hey,
that was shown.
No!
That was shown on stream, bruh.
No.
I've been streaming this shit live.
Stream.
You've been streaming that R44 Plus live. This is gonna get exposed. I didn't even realize that XP was streaming, bro. I'm sorry, Vista.
I'm clipping this just.
Okay.
I'm clipping that, bro.
Okay, this is a moment in my history. This is my first ever R34 of my own, so now I'm going to die.
Let me see. Let me see. What's the first R44 viewer? Let's see.
Y'all will do anything to cancel me, bro.
Miss, I wasn't even trying to cancel you.
No,
I didn't even know
you!
he was streaming this. I didn't even know he was streaming.
Start recording this. Oh my god.
Literally just yelling, "Fuck you."
Y'all will do anything to try to cancel me. Y'all want my life ruined.
I
Just
promise.
because I like fun. When I don't even like it anymore.
No. Vista, I promise. I did not even know he was streaming.
You were trying to cancel me.
I didn't even know he was streaming. I was just trying to show Plus something.
Yeah.
You know what?
No, that's a lie. You were trying to cancel me. I know.
We dead ass.
Yes.
Yeah.
But XP, you say, are we dead ass to everything? I could say I was in the hospital, and you would say, are we dead ass? Y'all want my life ruined.
I mean, you are the type
No,
of
we
person.
don't. No, we
I mean, you are
don't.
the
No,
type
we don't.
You are one of my best friends. Shut the fuck up. I did not know you were streaming, okay? That's what I've been trying to say.
I'll let y'all sort this out on y'all's own.
Wow.
Damn.
What the heck?
Didn't know. I didn't know he could be like that for real.
Yeah.
XP.
Best part is I
I
actually
swear.
recorded the damn
You
shower.
actually, y'all are actually trying to cancel me.
How? How?
Because XP, you've been streaming without me knowing, and you showed that thing. That's proof you were trying to cancel me.
So?
Wait, I need to clip that 1 minute.
Plus, oh my god, and now
Like, literally.
Plus is gonna fucking cancel me. Y'all want my fucking
Stop! Calm your ass down!
No! Delete that, and I'll calm down. And tell Plus to delete.
Literally
that.
ever since 2025, you bet listen, ever since 2025, you bet a fucking bitch. So I'm going to need you to shut the fuck up, stop, and get a fucking brain.
Bro, just because y'all are trying to cancel me, I have to get a fucking brain. You get a fucking brain.
And why is he at the top?
Vais parar de borrar tu? Francisco, sai do computador.
Aqui, ó.
Para de borrar, sai do computador. Sai! Sara! Pode sair.
Aqui, ó.
Olha, queres saber mesmo porque me acordaste? Sai do computador. Não vai mais, sai do computador.
Não.
Eu falo para ti, parece que eu falar sempre com um boneco, é sempre a puta da mesma merda. Sai do computador, já falei.
Não vai arrumar.
Sara! Vou dizer a Sara que não tens para ir.
Aqui, ó.
Porque,
Aqui, ó.
porque,
Aqui, ó.
Francisco, não me enerves.
Eu não berro mais.
Francisco, tu tens um problema de audição ou quê? Estás-me a enervar? Já te disse, sai!
What the fuck is happening?
Caralho! As regras nunca se aplicam a ele. É sempre o último a tudo. Passa noites e noites assim coisa. Passa sempre. O que é que tu queres? Sai do computador, caralho! Vai para o
What the
fundo do
fuck is
carro.
going on?
Ó, Sara! Foda-se, pá! Também é
I don't
preciso
think Vista did.
por ti sempre. Não vi. Francisco, mais vezes para o computador. Beijo.
Is it over?
What happened while I was gone? XP, what happened while I was gone, bro?
I've yet. Well, you see, I yelled at Vista. Vista went AFK, and I heard some noises in the background. I think you, but by his voice, I could tell he was still mad in the background, though.
So that was him screaming?
I think I'm not sure.
Mm.
That's you.
Oh, XP. Oh,
Talking about. I got you grounded. That's your fucking fault.
for how long?
Literally how?
I'm concerned.
Vista, how long?
Why did you drive?
Vista, how long were you grounded for?
Wait, did Vista actually get grounded?
Yes.
That's a good thing. He took more of a fucking minor.
Wait, what?
Wait, how old is Vista?
12.
Shit. Can't get him arrested. Damn it.
Vista broke his monitor? Plus, what did you say about Vista's monitor?
I never said anything about that. What the hell?
I thought you said that he broke his monitor.
He is literally. We dead ass. I do have a point though. He couldn't stop screaming.
Mm.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So now he wants to be calm.
Mm-hmm.
So now he wants to be calm. Probably.
just gonna definitely.
Hold up, let me just correct that. Okay. I heard some noise. I probably think think that's just me tripping.
Okay, I'm alive. What the hell did I miss? Oh wait.
So Vista finally decides to act calm, and when I said, so maybe you deserve being grounded.
You're right. That's
He, he
literally
finally
horrible.
he finally decides to act chill.
fuck up.
Yo, bro, so you see that new video that's going around? Which one? It's like, their names are like the Costco guys, and they go like, boom! Dude, it's hilarious. Dude, that's been around for months. The hell do best friends just appear in your life?
Bro, what? What, bro?
The hell do best friends just appear in your life out of fucking nowhere? Like one day you're just chilling, minding your own business, and the next day there's this random person who's suddenly your ride or die. You're like, bro, where the hell did you come from? Like, what were you doing before you popped into my life like some NPC? It's like you blink, and suddenly you got this person in your life who knows everything about you. Your dumbest secrets, your weirdest habits, the fact you still sleep with a stuffed animal named Gerald, and they accept it. They just accept the chaos. It's even weirder when you think back, like, how did I even meet you? Was it in school? A party? The most random ass encounter ever? Like, bro, you could have been in my life 5 years earlier and I wouldn't even know it. But now you're here. You know everything. You judge nothing. Well, maybe a little judging, but you get me. So, yeah. Best friends are like that random TikTok sound that pops up out of nowhere, but suddenly becomes your whole vibe. And honestly, I'm grateful for it. Real best friends just spawn into your life out of nowhere. The hell do best friends do? possui meses no modo. Nesse caso, esse mapa estaria certo. Ou seja, vai depender do porquê que aquele mapa foi criado. Mas por que ele não está invertido, não está de cabeça para baixo? Bem, primeiro vamos botar o Rio de Janeiro de volta. Pronto, agora temos o mapa do Brasil. Ele não está de cabeça para baixo porque não tem nada nele que exija uma orientação específica. Por exemplo, letras. Caso esse mapa tivesse algo escrito, por exemplo, Brasil, ele poderia estar de cabeça para baixo. Mas se ele estivesse assim, ele não estaria de cabeça para baixo. E assim, ele também não estaria de cabeça para baixo. Mas assim, ele estaria de cabeça para baixo de novo. Ou seja, o que define qual parte do mapa vai ficar no topo não é o norte. O norte no topo é algo que se padronizou na criação de mapas. Mas um mapa que não tem o norte no topo não está errado. Desde que ele mostre onde está o norte, ou qualquer um dos seus pontos. Por exemplo, assim. Como assim? Isso acontece porque não existe para cima e para baixo no espaço. Essa é a Terra. Ela gira em volta de seu próprio eixo. Uma das extremidades do eixo de rotação da Terra é chamada de Polo Norte e o outro, Polo Sul. O Polo Norte representado para cima é uma convenção que acontece nos globos como esse e em mapas como esse. Podemos olhar o planeta Terra no espaço assim. Ele continuaria girando em volta de seu próprio eixo. Essa extremidade do eixo de rotação da Terra continuaria sendo o Polo Norte e essa o Polo Sul. Se eu inverter esse globinho, ele só vai estar errado porque ele tem legenda. Tem coisas escritas nele. Então ele fica de cabeça para baixo. Ou seja, se o mapa está mostrando o norte oposto ao sul e o leste a 90 graus no sentido horário em relação ao norte, o mapa está certo. Norte para cima, leste para direita. Leste para cima, sul para direita. Sul para cima, oeste para direita. Oeste para cima, norte para direita. Conclusão, o novo mapa do IBGE está certo. Só não está seguindo aquele padrão que a gente está acostumado. Se eu pegar o...
Mrs. G, perhaps we could go over something important, like the difference between alpha and sigma. Baka.
Isto é o bolo. Isto é o bolo.
Vê se tá bom.
Tá.
Não precisa de mais nada. Não estava-se mais nem nada.
Ah,
Primeira vez que eu tento fazer bolo de chocolate. Queres saber o que é que eu usei? E as minhas pepitas. Isso é que não ali. Queres meter no tempo para abrir? Precisam mesmo tempo para abrir. Obrigada.
te estará despidiendo?
Grande demais. Eu perdi-me aqui dentro e a mãe teve que me vir procurar. A sério? Vá.
Olá, eu sou o Helder, sou motorista.
Longer, but other than that, I mean, that is a very cohesive dish. Completely covers up the gaminess of the camel. This dish right here is an easy A, but in the grand scheme of a camel's brisket, unfortunately today is going to be a C. Next up, we got beef, but probably not what you're thinking because this is veal. This one is blowing my mind because it has the exact same anatomy as a normal beef brisket, but the color is completely different. We have a flat section right here, then we have the point section over here. Absolutely the coolest to me. Check out all the marbling on that point. Even though this is veal and the meat color is extremely pale, you can see how there's still tons of rich fat. It almost reminds me of like Toro tuna. Now what I'm going to do is trim this up exactly like I would a normal beef brisket. The flat is just so much thinner. I'm really worried this is also going to end up very dry. So I'm just going to trim off the thinnest parts, just kind of square it up. Maybe not perfect, but we have achieved that nice aerodynamic shape. Time to season. Giving it a nice coating of salt and pepper, just like we would with a normal beef brisket. And onto the smoker she goes. And believe it or not, we're going to try cooking our non-control veal brisket like a steak. And we've tried this before with regular beef brisket with some success. Honestly, it didn't work out too well. The difference here is that veal is inherently way more tender, so I think it might actually work. And we'll get it on the grill. Going with the reverse sear method, so starting on the cool side to slowly come up to 125 Fahrenheit internal. From here, shifting it directly onto the hot side of the grill to achieve a nice crusty sear. It's reached 135 Fahrenheit internal, which should be medium rare, using the exact same process we'd use for any other thick cut steak. But honestly, this cross section is kind of weirding me out. It's medium rare, but still very white. Kind of looks like undercooked pork than any kind of beef I've ever seen, though it clearly is packed with moisture and seems at least somewhat tender. Now let's check on the control. Decent looking bark, maybe a little less dark than you find with regular beef, and it seems tender. It has this hilariously large smoke ring that kind of looks fake, but overall I will say it appears a lot more appetizing than the medium rare version. The fat has that glossy rendered look to it, and it's slicing through like butter. I am dying to see how this one tastes. What does a baby cow sound like?
Sounds like a cow, but just with a little bit of a higher voice.
Yeah, pretty good. And a regular baby cow?
I love it. I think I like this more than regular brisket.
Really?
It's almost lighter, not as deeply smoky and dense.
It's a bit more delicate. It's almost sweet to me.
Yeah, it's like a super clean pork to me. It's a great change of pace from beef.
I don't necessarily think it's better than regular beef brisket, but it's close.
This one's looking a little bit like medium rare chicken.
Whoa.
Completely different.
That is the juiciest piece of meat I have ever eaten in my life. Genuinely.
It reminds me of Wagyu. The fat is a little bit sweet and it's juicy.
Extremely flavorful, more tender but the same juiciness and flavor, and this would be an easy 10 out of 10.
Would you rank it?
I think it's an A. I much prefer this over a beef brisket.
I agree.
I thought it was a B, but I can meet you guys at an A. This was very good. And next up, we got bison brisket. See how it has that beautiful deep red color? However, it does look extremely lean, especially that flat section. There's essentially zero fat. However, up on the point, there is quite a bit of exterior fat. It weirdly looks almost yellow, kind of like we've seen with different types of wild game. We got some interesting anatomy. You can see here, there's this flap of meat. This is where the bones typically are, so I'm going to start by removing this. Kind of peeling it away, just like so. Leaving us with a normal looking brisket, we have, again, that flat right here with the fattier point over the top. Now because this is the control brisket, I am going to trim it up, squaring off that super lean side. It's just crazy how much less fat a bison brisket has over beef that we're used to seeing. Check out the color of that fat. It is just a stunning yellow, completely different than beef. We'll hit it with the salt and pepper, making sure to get the sides, and we'll get it on the smoker. Now for the non-control bison, we have something very interesting planned. What we're making is a traditional Native American survival food called pemmican. Pemmican is a traditional indigenous North American food predating European colonization in America, and apparently was a key survival food. Extremely lean beef is required, so what I'm going to try to do is separate the point from the flat, which is a lot easier said than done. But following the muscle fibers, and kind of peel away that upper point section, like so. That took longer than expected, but the flat is completely removed of fat. And now I'll just take some slices. And this stuff is as lean as it gets. And now we'll get our meat on the dehydrator. Feels very weird doing this to completely raw, unseasoned meat. Typically when stuff is on the dehydrator, it's already been fully marinated and seasoned, but we're going with the traditional method. And we'll let this dehydrate overnight. Okay guys, we actually let this dehydrate for like 2 days at this point. If this isn't bone dry, I don't know what is. With all the moisture removed, we can now blend this up essentially into a powder. Whew, that's meaty. But I think this is the texture we're looking for. From here, we'll finally add a bit of flavor, but from what I can tell, this dish was way more about survival utility over taste. Next, I've heated up some beef tallow. We're just gonna slowly start to incorporate it. The tallow should turn this into a bar-like texture once cooled. It's also adding a ton of calories for extra energy. And into the fridge to cool. We've let it completely harden in the fridge. Let's see what we got. I think it'll actually come right out. Oh yeah, like a loaf of brownies. Now we'll just slice up some bars. And we appear to be left with what's basically meat granola. So I'm gonna be honest, texturally, these are exactly like those Nature's Valley bars. They look good, then you open it up and it just completely falls apart. Now let's check out the control. Nice dark bark, very similar to what you'll find with the beef brisket. Let's slice it up. Well, it is clearly very juicy, but man, there's something about that fat. It is so yellow, very strange looking, especially when we're used to seeing more clear fat. But that aside, I'm not mad about how this is looking. Doesn't really pass the bend test, but it does pull apart okay. You just copied mine. An actual bison sounds like this. Bison. That tastes more like beef than beef does. It is so beefy.
It's a nice change of pace. I don't like it more than beef. It's good.
It does have a tinge of wildness or gaminess to it, and the texture is much tighter than your regular beef brisket, but it's not bad.
I'm very excited about this one.
Oh, really weird.
So weird, but kind of good.
Has a flavor of very like natural beef jerky.
Initially it's sweet, then it turns savory, then it tastes like beef. It's like very confusing for the taste buds, but as a survival food, it really isn't bad.
Texturally, it really reminds me of shortbread, which is why when I put it in my mouth, I almost want it to be sweet. It smells like bird food or like fish food.
I wouldn't proactively seek it out, but I kind of like it.
How in God's name do we rank this?
Beef or bison?
I think it's a B too. Not as good as beef, but a very solid B. We have made it to not only the biggest, but also the most expensive brisket of the day, Wagyu A5. But as you guys can see, we got a problem. This thing is so massive that in Japan, they actually had to slice it in half. So we have this massive 17.5-pound chunk right here, which is the brisket flat, as well as this giant 15-pound point. So here's the thing. Now we could just cook both these two sides separately, but honestly, it feels a little bit lame. Like if we're gonna do this, we have to do it right. So I have an idea. I give you move glue. We'll start by opening up the point section here. This thing is looking ridiculous. It's almost like a shark fin or something. Now we'll open up the flat. This cross section is absolutely insane. This is a flat side that's usually extremely lean, but as you can see, I mean, that marbling is just ridiculous. It's honestly more fat than meat. And as you can see, that point side is also just insane. And If we look on the bottom here, you can see how there's actually bones here. With a standard brisket, this part is completely removed. In order to glue these together, I believe what's required is going to be a nice flat side for both, so I'll take a slice. Still have yet to use this tuna slicer to actually slice the tuna, but I think this is just as cool. Try not to remove too much of it. Okay, now you can really see the marbling. That is as crazy as it gets. Now I'll see if I can do the same with the point. And now we'll whip out our moon glue, aka transglutaminase. Just like the name suggests, it literally glues meat together. So we'll start on the flat side. What I'm going to do is literally just dust the entire face with the moon glue. And we'll do the exact same thing on the point side. Now, there is one key issue with meat glue. They say it is very bad at gluing extremely fatty cuts together. Needless to say, these are two extremely fatty cuts, so we'll see what happens. Okay, that right there is one complete brisket. Now, do I just sit here? All right. Okay, all jokes aside, we're going to try to get this into the fridge, hopefully in this exact position, so it can seal overnight. All right, guys, it has been 30 hours. A wide variety of techniques have been used to try and keep this thing together. We have several supporting rods, a bunch of supporting paper towels, hopefully allowing both sides to stick together. This is what we got. It seems to be stuck together, so I'm not going to push my luck and try separating them, but I am going to trim it up like I would a normal brisket. There's just this crazy amount of exterior fat, and I really want the seasonings and smoke to actually stick to the meat itself, so I'm cutting away as much of this as possible. Honestly, this appears to be like 50% fat. Okay, we have finally reached a point where our brisket actually looks like a brisket. This is an ungodly amount of trimming that was required. It's hard to see at this point if both sides are fully stuck together. There definitely is a bit of a seal. We'll only know for sure once it's cooked. And it is finally time to season this bad boy up, but I gotta give a huge shout out to Alpine Butcher. They are the only people on the planet that can source something this crazy. So if you like meat, check them out. And we'll get her on the grill. Alright, we've officially hit 175 internal. I am pleased to say that the glue seems to be gluing. For reference, take a look at how much fat has rendered out of this thing already. And as if this thing needs more fat, we're gonna throw some of that right over the top. Whoa, okay, should do it. And now we'll wrap it up. And back on the grill to finish cooking. 17 hours of cooking and a 3-hour rest later, this brisket is done. And that right there is what I'm talking about when it comes to barbecue. Super dark and flavorful, and yes, it is still somehow fully glued together. And I mean, this should come as a surprise to no one, but this looks like the brisket of all briskets. Just packed with moisture. It's almost like this thing was injected with beef tallow. Let's find out if all this effort was worth it. What does a Wagyu A5 cow sound like?
Sounds like a pretentious normal cow.
Let's hear that.
Really good one. Looks like a cow engine.
And an actual Wagyu A5 cow sound like this. Hey guys, we've made it to the most expensive brisket in the entire world. We've come a long way from coyote.
Oh my gosh.
That's what I have to say, pal. Did good.
You don't need more marbling in a brisket. It's so rich already.
I mean, it is insanely tender. It's ridiculously juicy, although for me it's slightly lacking the beefy flavor.
The tenderness and juiciness of this compared to a regular brisket is just a level above. I really love this.
But is it 40 times better? Because cost-wise, that's what it is.
It's a little bit too mushy.
You think it's worse than a regular brisket?
Yes, I do.
So how do you rank it?
I would give it a B.
I'd say an A+.
I think if we took price out of it, it's an easy S. Considering how expensive it is, I think we need to meet that an A.
Agreed.
Well, we'll find out who won the free all-expenses paid trip to Miami Beach based on the sound of their animals, because only our editor knows the answer to that. Really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.
Já apostaste com o coração e ficaste na mão? Já sentiste pico de adrenalina com odds?
Did you know that a storm can form a new border, or if you exit a library the wrong way, it can land you in trouble with border patrol, and that you can sleep in 2 countries at once. Today, we'll bring you 50 insane border facts that seem fake, but are shockingly real. Fact 50. France's longest border is with Brazil. No, you're not misremembering where France is. The European nation's longest land border is with Brazil. It's thanks to French Guiana, a French territory tucked away in northeastern South America. The border clocks in at 450 miles or 730 kilometers long. Meanwhile, France's border with Italy is 320 miles or 515 kilometers long, and the country's border with Germany is only 280 miles or 450 kilometers long. Fact 49. You can play soccer on the equator. What if instead of defending your own goal on the soccer pitch, you are defending your own hemisphere? That's actually how soccer, or rather football teams play down at the Estádio Milton Correia in Macapá, Brazil. Since the stadium was built on the equator, the architects decided they'd really take advantage of the zero latitude line and use it as the halfway line of the football pitch. Locals nicknamed the stadium Zero, or the Big Zero, referring to its geographical position. Fact number 48. There's a fence longer than the Great Wall of China. Australia is known for many weird and deadly things. And yes, we're talking about the wildlife. One of those creatures is the dingo. These wild dogs pose a serious threat to something Australian farmers value above all else: sheep. So to keep the dingoes out, a fence was built along the southeastern part of the country. A really long fence. At just under 3,500 miles, or 5,600 kilometers long, Australia's dingo fence is longer than the Great Wall of China, and longer than the border between Russia and China. It started to take shape in the 1880s, at first to keep out rabbits, another big pest for farmers, and took its current shape in the 1950s. Today, the fence has successfully kept dingoes mostly to one side of it, creating a pretty unique ecological experiment along the way. The side with dingoes has more biodiversity, more small native mammals, and stays greener for longer after rains. On the other hand, the non-dingo side has more kangaroos. Fact 47. Constance avoided bombs due to its border. The city of Constance is divided between Germany and Switzerland, something that proved useful for residents during World War II. Switzerland was neutral during the war, while Germany, as we all know, was one of the Axis powers. German towns enacted blackouts during Allied bombing raids, with residents even painting windows black and refusing to light candles to avoid bombs. But towns in neutral Switzerland would leave their lights on at night during raids. The German side of Constance then realized they could take advantage of this by also leaving their lights on, making the Allies mistake them for a neutral Swiss city. Fact number 46. Portugal and Spain like having weird border crossings, as you'll see later. You can cross between Spain and Portugal on the world's shortest international bridge. Head to Esperança, Portugal, and you can cross a 10.4-foot or 3.2 meter long bridge into the Spanish region of La Colosera, meant for foot traffic instead of cars. So you take a nice long walk into a neighboring country, and while you're at it, be prepared to jump 1 hour ahead in just a few steps, thanks to Spain's different time zone. Fact number 45. The borders of Spain and France change every 6 months. Every 6 months, Spain transfers an island to France, that promptly returns it 6 months later. The piece of land called Pheasant Island is located on the Bidasoa River that divides the two countries. This strange biannual transfer of a 2-acre uninhabited island started as a symbol of peace between the two powers, agreed upon in the Treaty of Pyrenees at the end of the 30 Years' War, all the way back in 1659. Today, no visitors are allowed on the island, except for when it changes hands. Government officials from both countries meet there to arrange the transfer, no doubt confusing the kayakers around them. Fact 44. There are only 3 enclave countries in the world. An enclave is a country that's completely surrounded by another country, and only 3 of them currently exist. San Marino and Vatican City have it relatively easy, as they're fully located within Italy and considered de facto members of the Schengen zone. So there are no formal border checks to enter or exit the countries. Things are a little different for the third country, Lesotho, which is fully within South Africa. Residents need to pass South African border control to get to the sea. The Lesotho border is also unique in that it's very visible from above, as Lesotho is mostly a mountainous plateau extending upwards from the land around it. Fact number 43. The town of Barla has an identity crisis. In northwestern Europe, you'll find the Dutch town of Barla, or the Belgian town of Barla. Really, it depends on where exactly in Barla you're standing. The Flemish province of Barla-Hertog is technically a Belgian province, but it's scattered in multiple pieces throughout the Netherlands. The border between the two countries runs through cafes, schools, even private homes in a really haphazard way. But if you get confused while you're in town, don't worry. There are helpful white markings on the ground to tell you when you're in the Netherlands, NL, or Belgium, B. Why did the town end up this way? Because in the Middle Ages, the lords of Breda and dukes of Brabant kept changing their minds on how to divide up the land. So, through swaps, sales, and treaties, they ended up with the patchwork town of Barla today. Fact number 42. A small piece of Russia is nowhere near it. Tiny Kaliningrad Oblast is separated from the rest of Russia's enormous landmass by Lithuania, Latvia, and Belarus. How did this Russian-populated sliver of land end up so far from the rest of Russia? Kaliningrad was originally part of East Prussia, and then Germany. After the Soviet Union and the Allies defeated Germany in World War II, Germans fled from the area and Russians populated it. Later, when the Soviet Union was dissolved and countries in the area were claiming their independence, Russia offered Kaliningrad to Germany. However, the Germans turned it down, as they were already trying to figure out how to unify East and West Germans and didn't want to add Russians to the mix as well, thus leaving Kaliningrad as a little piece of Russia away from Russia. Fact number 41. Exiting from the wrong side at Haskell Free Library and Opera is an illegal border crossing. The Haskell Free Library and Opera is located at 93 Caswell Avenue, Derby Line, Vermont, USA, or, depending on how you enter, at 1 Church Street, Stansted, Quebec, Canada. The library is built right on the US-Canada border and can be visited from either side. However, be careful how you exit. You can't just walk into Canada from the US or vice versa. The door is on the American side. Canadians must stick to the sidewalk leading to the entrance, but can't walk into the town beyond it without a passport check. Bibliophiles will need to have ID on them at all times, because they may be searched by Border Patrol agents. In the meantime, they relax at the building's craft table, where people can put their feet up in Canada while the rest of them is knitting in the United States. Fact number 40. Spain has heavily guarded borders in North Africa. On the north coast of Morocco, you'll find two towns surrounded by barbed wire, Melilla and Ceuta. They're heavily guarded because they're actually part of Spain, though Morocco also lays claim to both and would like to annex them. Spain annexed Ceuta from Portugal in 1668, and Melilla changed hands from a Berber city to Spanish control in 1497. Since these are two of the only European Union land borders in Africa, many immigrants from North African countries try to cross into the Spanish cities and claim asylum there. The 20-foot, 6-meter fence at Ceuta has occasionally been stormed, resulting in injuries to those who try to cross it. Fact number 39. The Gambia has some of the strangest borders in Africa. If you look closely at Senegal, you might notice something inside it. Another country. This is the Gambia, the smallest non-island nation in Africa, and its borders run along a river. Why? Well, the answer, as is usually the case when it comes to weirdly drawn borders, is colonialism. The French and the British had outposts in the area that they used for trade, but then France decided it was going to start claiming more inland regions. So the French took full control of the Senegal River, which the British didn't like as they wanted a river of their own so they could also plunder the continent. So they negotiated with France to see who would control what, and decided on keeping a strip of land 6 miles in each direction from the Gambia River. Local leaders tried to protest, announcing that they would actually like to keep their land as well, to which the British responded by parading some warships down the river. Today, the Gambia ranges from 15 to 30 miles wide on either side of the river and 300 miles inland. Fact number 38. Croatia only allows Bosnia and Herzegovina 12 miles of coastline.
Though at first glance, it looks like Croatia is firmly against allowing Bosnians to go to the beach, if you take a closer look, you'll notice a small strip of Bosnian land on the coast. This is called the Neum Corridor. It all started after the 1699 Treaty of Karlovitz, when Venice gained territory near Dubrovnik. Venice was on a land-grabbing spree, and Dubrovnik wasn't exactly thrilled to have them as neighbors. So, in a clever diplomatic move, Dubrovnik handed over a strip of land to the Ottoman Empire. The goal was to create a buffer zone, hoping the presence of the Ottomans would discourage Venice from getting any closer. At the time, Bosnia and Herzegovina were part of the Ottoman Empire prior to independence, so it retained this land as the Neum Corridor. Today, it's the second shortest coastline in the world.
Obstipação, diarreia ou gases, experimenta Gavi Digest. Atua na origem dos sintomas intestinais frequentes por meio de uma barreira protetora que repara o intestino, para um alívio duradouro, ajudando a prevenir o reaparecimento dos sintomas. Gavi Digest, para um alívio duradouro dos sintomas gastrointestinais.
Smart é ter rede móvel 5G em todo o lado, com gigas acumuláveis.
After Monaco. Fact number 37. Climate change is shifting the Italy-Switzerland border. The Italy-Switzerland border runs through the Swiss and Italian Alps, including the mighty Matterhorn. Big portions of the border are determined by the local watershed, or the ridgelines formed by glaciers. But Europe's glaciers are retreating, and fast, which means Switzerland and Italy just had to meet in September of 2024 in order to redraw their border beneath the Matterhorn as the glacier covering it slowly disappears. Fact number 36. The world's tallest border runs through Mount Everest. Forget border walls and fences. The best way to make sure no one crosses your border is to put the Himalayan mountain range on it. That's the case for the border between Nepal and China, officially the highest in the world. It reaches its highest altitude at the peak of Mount Everest, at over 29,000 feet above sea level. However, no border is without its issues. There is a furrow in the Himalayas where Chinese patrols and border stations keep strict watch, mostly to prevent Chinese Tibetans from fleeing to Nepal. However, Nepalis have plenty of complaints about their Chinese neighbors as well, namely that they're encroaching on their space. Tibetan Nepalis also say that they're pressured not to display images of the Dalai Lama near the border, while the Chinese have carved a 600-foot-long political slogan into their hillside facing Nepal. It says, "Long live the Chinese Communist Party." So things are tense along that line. Fact number 35. We've spoken about the highest border in the world, but what about the highest international crossing? At least the highest official one. That would be Khunjerab Pass, a dizzying gateway that connects Pakistan and China at a staggering elevation of nearly 15,400 feet, or just shy of 4,700 meters high. Fact number 34. Limited purpose annexations have made US city maps like Houston's unreadable. It's not only countries that have weird borders. Cities, particularly US cities, have some of the strangest borders in the world. Take this map of Houston, for example. Why is it so weird? Great question. Part of the reason is because cities like Houston love annexing other neighborhoods, usually by request of those in the area, even if they're not directly connected to the city. The other reason is something called limited purpose annexations. That's when a city annexes very limited territory via agreement with a utility district, leading to those little thin strips of land you see on the Houston map. That way, Houston can collect sales tax from commercial districts, but no property tax, while having to offer few services in return. Since 2000, Houston has completed 196 limited purpose annexations. Fact 33. You can hike across the India-Nepal border. There's a 7-day trek called the Sandakpur Circuit Trek that takes people through the eastern Himalayas. During the trip, hikers can see some of the highest peaks in the world, including Mount Everest, and also crisscross the India-Nepal border several times. You'll reach altitudes over 11,900 feet, or over 3,600 meters, and the challenging trail, in addition to the even rougher terrain off-trail, generally discourages illegal permanent crossings. As Nepal and India have pretty friendly relations anyway,
Giorgio Armani. Coleciona, destila e arrasa com a nova coleção Copa Cromática da McDonald's.
did you know that Hawaii is not in North America? Or that you've been lied to about what you can and can't see from space? Or how about this? What if we told you you may be wrong about how many continents exist in the world? Today, we'll dive deep into misinformation and flat-out wrong facts about geography that have been floating around for a long time. Here's 50 fake geography facts that everyone believes. So, let's start with fact number 50. Antarctica and the South Pole are not the same thing. Many people use the names Antarctica and South Pole almost interchangeably. However, they're not the same thing. Antarctica is one of the 7, well, maybe not actually 7 as you'll soon see, continents in the world, located at the bottom of the planet. And 7 countries lay claim to territory within it. The South Pole is within Antarctica, but it's not the entire landmass. It's the southernmost point of the Earth, the magnetic pole around which the Earth spins. Fact number 49. There are actually 4 South Poles. Scratch that. Apparently, a lot of what we know about the South Pole is incorrect, including the fact that there's not just one. There's the geographic South Pole, the point where the Earth's axis meets the crust, the geomagnetic South Pole, where the Earth's geomagnetic field intersects the Earth's surface, which is not the same place as the axis, the magnetic South Pole, where the magnetic field intersects the crust, and the inaccessible South Pole, the furthest place on Antarctica from the shoreline. Fact number 48. You can't see the Great Wall of China from space. Everyone knows there's only one man-made structure you can see from space, the Great Wall of China, except you can't. In fact, you can't see any man-made structure from space with the naked eye. So how did this rumor get started? Well, most likely because the International Space Station, the ISS, shared images of the Great Wall of China taken from space. However, those images were taken with a powerful zoom lens. The astronauts couldn't see the wall otherwise. Even using the zoom lens, structures like the Houston Airport are visible way before the Great Wall, since the wall is very long but very thin, and also blends into the surrounding area due to its color and texture. Fact number 47. Greenland is much smaller than Africa. Most people get this fact wrong, and for that, you can thank the Mercator projection most maps use. Not only is Greenland, at around 836,000 square miles, nowhere near Africa in size, it's even smaller than Africa's biggest country, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, at almost 906,000 square miles. Because of the way the projection works, the DRC looks much smaller than it is, while Greenland looks giant. You'll soon see why. In reality, the northern island is 1/8 the size of South America, and 14 times smaller than Africa. And on that note, fact number 46. Africa is much bigger than you think. To understand this, we have to talk more about how Mercator maps work. They essentially flatten out the globe, and were originally used by navigators to plot their course, as it made lines of latitude and longitude exactly parallel. But they fall short when trying to get an accurate idea of landmass size. Land near the poles appears much larger than land near the equator. That becomes obvious when you learn that Africa is 11.7 million square miles, meaning it can fully fit both Russia and Canada, with room left to cram in Iceland, the UK, and all of Scandinavia. Fact number 45, Finland is not part of Scandinavia. Most people look at northern continental Europe as being Scandinavia, but Finland isn't actually part of this region, though it is part of the Nordics. That's because even though Finland borders Sweden and has some cultural similarities, it's linguistically and ethnically different from its Scandinavian neighbors, Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. Swedish, Norwegian, and Danish all come from similar Germanic roots, while Finnish comes from a completely separate, less comprehensible language family, known as Uralic. Which is why, when you ask Finns to teach you a word in Finnish, most will reply, why? Fact 44. The Nile may not be the longest river in the world. The Nile River, which runs through 11 African countries, is usually considered the longest river in the world. But many scientists and geographers are now disputing this claim. Turns out, mapping a river is harder than you might think. But after a 14-day expedition by Brazilian scientists in 2007, the director of science at the Brazilian Institute of Geography and Statistics, Guido Heri, says the case is closed. The Amazon is the longest river, even though it wins by only around 60 miles. It's 4,225 miles long, compared to the Nile's 4,160 miles. While other scientists do dispute this claim, one thing is clear. The Nile is still not the undisputed champion of rivers. Fact number 43. Europe's tallest peak is not Mont Blanc or the Matterhorn. The tallest mountain in Europe, many think, must be one of the most famous ones, perhaps Mont Blanc or the Matterhorn, both of which are located in the Alps. However, neither of those are the tallest, not by a long shot. Mont Blanc is just under 15,800 feet tall, and the Matterhorn is around 14,700 feet tall. The big boy of Europe is Mount Elbrus, located in Russia, reaching up to nearly 18,500 feet in altitude. Many people don't know it, partly because of confusion surrounding where Russia itself actually is, Europe or Asia. But Mount Elbrus is fully in Russia's European side. Speaking of, fact number 42. There is no agreed upon line between Europe and Asia. If you ask geographers if the countries of the Caucasus, Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan, sit in Europe or Asia, they will likely answer yes. It turns out there's a lot of confusion on what line divides Europe or Asia, as they share the same landmass. Many cartographers make the Ural Mountains in Russia the eastern border of Europe and Asia, then follow the Emba River in Kazakhstan down to the Caspian Sea. Some cartographers put the line on the border of Kazakhstan instead. Others still put it on the Ural River. Then it continues, either through the Sea of Azov to the Kerch Strait, or south to the port of Baku, and across the Caucasus Mountains and over into Kerch again. In sum, the distinction between Europe and Asia isn't so clear-cut. Fact number 41. Egypt is not completely in Africa. Though most people identify Egypt as a country in Africa, it's not fully within the continent. The Suez Canal separates Asia and Africa, and though Egypt is located mostly in Africa, its famous Sinai Peninsula is on the other side of the canal, and therefore located in Asia. It's far from the only country to be straddling two continents, though. Fact number 40. Part of Kazakhstan is in Europe. This leads us to another interesting tidbit that you might get wrong. According to most, even if not all cartographers, the part of Kazakhstan west of the Emba River is not actually in Asia. Most famous as the home of Borat, Kazakhstan is widely considered an Asian country. But a lot of geographers would put the westernmost regions of it, including the large parts of West Kazakhstan and Adirau, in Europe. And continuing on Europe-Asia confusion, fact number 39, Russia is not European, or Asian for that matter. Depending on where If you grew up going to school in an English-speaking country, or most of Europe and Asia, you probably learned that the world has 7 continents. Though this is the most widely accepted model of thinking about world geography, it's not the only one. Depending on where you learned geography, you may think the world only has 5, or even just 4 continents, and those are totally legitimate models as well. Some European countries have a 6-continent model: Africa, America, Antarctica, Asia, Australia/Oceania, and Europe. Other countries teach 5 continents: Africa, Europe, Asia, America, and Oceania, Australia, excluding Antarctica altogether. And yet other people argue that only land masses separated by water should count as continents, meaning there's just 4: Afro-Eurasia, America, Antarctica, and Australia. Fact 37. Holland is not just another name for the Netherlands. Many people call the Netherlands Holland, believing it's just an older name, or perhaps an alternate name for the northwestern European country. But while that may be the case in a few other languages, in English, Holland is actually a region within the Netherlands. 2 of the Netherlands' 12 provinces are called North Holland and South Holland, North Holland and Zuid Holland. So why did the name of just 2 regions become interchangeable with the country as a whole? Well, that's probably because the country's most populated and famous cities, Amsterdam, Rotterdam, and The Hague, are all located within these 2 regions. Fact number 36. Great Britain and the United Kingdom are not the same. Does someone have an English accent or a British accent? Many Americans and other outsiders use terms that apply to this island interchangeably, but they're not the same thing. Just for fun, try calling a Scotsman English. See how it goes for you. In the same vein, Great Britain and the United Kingdom do not refer to the same landmass. The United Kingdom is a country made up of 4 separate regions: England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Great Britain, on the other hand, refers only to the island that includes England, Scotland, and Wales, leaving out the Emerald Isle entirely.
Mais. Não é leis. Não é leis. No leis, no summer.
Sensodyne Clinical White proporciona 2 tons mais brancos e...
Se já fazes tudo na net, por que não estudas também? Na universidade.
Fact number 35. Iceland is not icy. This mistake is understandable to make. After all, ice is right there in the name. But this false reputation is actually the result of one man's staggering lack of curiosity. In the 9th century, a Norseman by the name of Hrafna Floki landed on the island, went up a mountain in the West Fjords, and saw ice in the fjord itself. He then decided the land shall be named Iceland, and called it a day. However, the coasts of Iceland are pretty ice-free, and even though there are glaciers on the island, most of the country is green. Fact 34, Lagos is not the capital of Nigeria. Even geography nerds get this one wrong. The actual capital of Nigeria is Abuja, so why do so many people think it's Lagos? First off, it used to be the capital, so there's that. But second, Lagos continues to be the biggest city in Nigeria by far, and one of the biggest in the world, with an estimated population of 15.5 to 21 million people, compared to Abuja's 4.2 million. However, the capital was moved to Abuja in 1991, partly because Abuja was closer to the center of the country than the coastal Lagos, and also because of an amusement park. That's right, Abuja is near Magicland Abuja, formerly known as Wonderland, the first amusement park ever built in Nigeria, and officials wanted the capital to be near it. Fact 33. The Sahara Desert is not the world's largest desert. The largest desert in the world is in a place you might not expect: Antarctica. In fact, it is Antarctica itself, as the Antarctic polar desert spans 5.5 million square miles over the entire continent. Most people imagine deserts to be hot, dry places devoid of plant life, but that definition is only partly true. Heat has nothing to do with naming some place a desert. According to Webster's dictionary, a desert is classified as arid land with usually sparse vegetation. So, Antarctica absolutely qualifies. Fact number 32, the Sahara is also not the world's driest desert. You know what, maybe the Sahara isn't as impressive as we've all been led to believe. Turns out, it's not the world's largest desert, and believe it or not, it's not even that dry. At least, it's not compared to the Atacama Desert in Chile. Outside of the poles, the Atacama Desert is the driest place on Earth, receiving less than 0.04 inches or 1 millimeter of precipitation per year. Some parts of the desert haven't seen water in over 500 years. That means that the last time it rained was a few years after Columbus landed in the New World. A man who has one of the craziest fake geography facts associated with him, as you'll soon see. In comparison, the Sahara Desert gets an average of 3 inches a year, a positive deluge compared to the Atacama. Fact 31. Deserts aren't necessarily sandy. We've already established that deserts can be icy, large landmasses like Antarctica. But even deserts with hot climates aren't necessarily full of sand and dunes. People just think so because most photos of deserts feature miles of endless photogenic dunes. Rocky scrubland is rarely as pretty to photograph and share with the world. But some, like the Atacama we just mentioned, have mostly rocky or stony terrain. Deserts around the world can also feature salt flats and other non-sandy landscapes. As long as they're arid, they're still deserts. Fact 30. Everest is not the tallest mountain in the world. Turns out, some geography facts aren't really straightforward. Depending on how you measure it, Everest is not the tallest mountain in the world, though it is the tallest when measuring the height difference from sea level, around 29,000 feet. Two other mountains beat it by other measurements. The first is Mauna Kea, which is taller than Everest measured from base to tip, though a lot of it is underwater. The other one, which fewer people know about, is Mount Chimborazo in Ecuador. Despite Chimborazo being nearly 8,500 feet lower than Everest, its location on the equatorial bulge means its summit sits almost 4,000 miles from the Earth's center. That's 1.3 miles more than Everest, making Chimborazo closer to space. Number 29. The Earth is not a sphere. Globes usually depict the Earth as a perfect sphere. However, that's not actually our planet's shape. The Earth is an oblique spheroid, or ellipsoid, meaning it's slightly flatter at the poles. That happens mostly because of the planet's rotation. The force of it causes the ends near its axis to flatten. Actually, the shape is continuing to slowly change over time, but not in any drastic ways. However, most globes are still perfectly round, just because it's easier to depict the Earth that way for educational purposes. Fact 28. Most of Canada's population lives near its southern border, which is why several major Canadian cities, Vancouver, Winnipeg, Montreal, and of course, Toronto, are within 100 miles of the US-Canadian border. Though Toronto is Canada's most populated and well-known city, it isn't actually the capital of Canada. That would be Ottawa. The reason Queen Victoria made it the country's capital in 1857 is because it was in a location that could be easily defended between Quebec and Ontario. And at the time, those were the Canadian colony's only two provinces. Fact 27. Geneva is not the Swiss capital. Though it's famous for things like chocolate, watches, and conventions on human rights, Geneva is not actually the Swiss capital. In 1848, the Swiss parliament voted to make Bern the capital, to avoid giving too much power to the country's economic powerhouse, Zurich. So if Bern is the capital and Zurich is the moneymaker, why do so many people think Geneva is the capital? Well, that's probably because many international bodies, like the UN and the Red Cross, have their European headquarters in Geneva, making it the Swiss city most referenced in news and media. Fact 26. Antarctica isn't as big as you think. Though Antarctica may look massive on a map, it's smaller than most people think. In fact, you can only fit the US and Mexico inside it before you run out of room. But since the Mercator map disproportionately distorts countries by the poles, it makes sense that it would distort one continent on a pole the most. Fact 25. The Mississippi is not the longest river in the US. Though the Mississippi River is one of the US's most, if not the most important commercial waterway, as it flows through almost the entire country from north to south, it's actually not the longest river in the US. That would be the Missouri River, which is a tributary of the Mississippi and yet 200 miles longer. The US Geological Survey lists the Missouri as 2,540 miles long, and the Mississippi River as 2,340 miles long. Fact 24. South Africa actually has 3 capitals, and none of them are Johannesburg. We can't blame people for making this particular mistake, as South Africa's capital situation is pretty unique. Since Johannesburg has the biggest urban population in South Africa, many people think it's the capital. But in fact, South Africa has 3 capitals divided between the legislative capital in Cape Town, the judicial capital in Bloemfontein, and the executive capital in Pretoria. The country divided the capitals in 1910, when the Union of South Africa was formed. Pretoria and Bloemfontein had both already been capitals of the previous Boer provinces, the Orange Free State and Transvaal, and a parliament had existed in Cape Town since colonial times, so it just made sense to make it a legislative capital. Fact number 23. Maine is not the U.S.'s easternmost state. Looking at a map of the U.S., this fact seems insane. How can Maine not be the easternmost state? It's east of everything else. But
Estou viciado nesta porra.
No había conocido a alguien que aceptara todo lo que la vida le ofrece con tanta gratitud, que amara tanto como yo, y que nunca se rindiera a pesar de todos los muchos obstáculos que la vida te pone en el camino.
Te lo agradezco. Me gusta pensar en todo lo que me ha estado pasando. Es decir, analizar así mi pasado y pensar en mis experiencias. Me da fuerzas pensar en eso.
No deberíamos olvidarnos del pasado.
Por ejemplo, hay algunos momentos que fueron claves en mi vida. La primera vez que cargué a mis hijos. Cada uno fue sumamente especial. Porque claro que nadie recuerda el momento en el que nace, pero para una madre es un instante que perdura en el recuerdo. Es algo muy hermoso. Y te diré algo. De hecho, preparé un baúl especial para cada uno de mis hijos. Guardé todas sus cosas importantes ahí. Cada uno tenía su propio baúl.
¿Qué hay en los baúles?
¿Qué hay en los baúles? Bueno, por ejemplo, su primer mameluco. La ropa que usan se llama mameluco. Guardé el primero que usaron. Los primeros calcetines. Los zapatos con los que dieron sus primeros pasos. También están sus mordederas, los chupones, sonajas y sus actas de nacimiento. Son cosas muy hermosas. Amo ser madre de esos niños. Y siempre he querido que ellos vean que me importan mucho. No sé, tal vez es cursi, pero he guardado muchas cosas.
No creo que sea cursi. Las mamás guardan todo. Mi mamá también lo hacía. Pero no teníamos un baúl.
Tal vez ignoré la felicidad en mi matrimonio por centrarme en mis hijos. No lo sé.
No creo que sea por eso. Eres una excelente madre. Eres una persona muy entregada.
Muchas gracias.
¿Y dónde están esos baúles?
Están en Adana. No podía traerlos conmigo porque salí corriendo, pero son muy importantes. Tengo que ir por ellos, recuperarlos.
¿Y cómo harás eso?
No sé, después veo. Tal vez se los pida a la señora Shukran, mi ex suegra. Ella puede entregármelos.
Si tú lo dices, te creo.
Y también quiero que Dennis recuerde su pasado. Quiero que sepa que una vez lo sostuve entre mis brazos. Quiero que sepa cuánto lo amaba.
Creo que lo sabe. Dennis es un niño inteligente, con un gran corazón. Lo sé, créeme.
Confía mucho en ti, ¿lo sabías? Y creo que te quiere mucho.
También lo quiero. ¿En serio está trabajando? Maldición.
¿No te parece extraño estar haciendo esto?
No.
Ay, aún falta mucho por hacer.
Creo que me falta...
Aquí se quedó uno azul.
Sí, ese es. Papi, ¿qué haces? ¿Alguna novedad? No, amigo. Todo está tranquilo.
¿Qué estás haciendo?
Bueno, estoy leyendo un libro. ¿Leyendo un libro? ¿No lo has terminado? No, sí lo terminé. Estaba aquí sentado y me aburrí un poco. Tomé un libro y empecé a leer y en verdad me enganchó. ¿Cómo se llamaba? Ah, Matar a un ruiseñor.
Ah, encontraste el libro perfecto para ti.
No, no se refiere a matar. Bueno, es un libro sobre la igualdad.
El jefe está trabajando y tú leyendo libros. Ya veremos qué pasa.
¿El jefe qué está haciendo?
Él está haciendo tonterías. Ahora deja ese libro y levanta la vista. Si pasa algo malo, lo lamentarás.
Está bien, amigo. No te preocupes. Buena suerte.
Ay, ay, ay. Mi niña se ve tan linda con su uniforme, le queda tan bien. Denis, ven, siéntate junto a tu hermana. Déjame verte bien. A ver. Ay, qué bien se ven.
Déjame tomarles una
Ay,
foto.
sí, una foto.
Acomódense,
Niños,
niñas.
acomódense.
Ese para mí.
¿No quieres? Está bien, mi amor.
Esperen. Ah, la abuela tiene problemas con el teléfono.
Bien lindos
Muy
en la
bien,
foto.
ya está. Sí. Muy bien, niños, posen. Tilsim. ¿Qué pasa, cariño? Sonríe un poco. Ay, 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 deja que se te vean los dientes.
Vamos, sonríe un poco.
Sonríe, cariño, ¿eh? Eso es, sonríe. Muy bien. Vamos, quedó muy bien.
Muy bien, démonos prisa, niños. Pónganse
Oye,
sus abrigos.
¿irás a trabajar después?
Así es, iré a trabajar.
Ay, cariño. Tal vez pase por ahí más tarde.
¿Por qué? ¿Para qué quieres ir? ¿Qué pasa? Si quieres ir, ve, pero...
Ya veremos, querida. Aún no lo he decidido.
Bueno, si hay algún problema con Celine o algo, ya sabes que estoy muy cerca de la casa. Ya le traje un libro para colorear, eso la entretiene todo el día.
Está bien, no te preocupes por nosotras. Nos podemos cuidar solas.
Bien, no me preocupo.
Adiós,
Toma tu
mis
mochila.
amores, que tengan un
Toma
buen
tu
día.
mochila,
Diles
hijo.
adiós, Celine.
Ven a darme un beso.
Anda, dale un beso a mamá.
Bueno,
Nos
adiós.
vemos, abuela.
Que tengas buen día. ¿Y ahora qué hacemos?
Foi o meu.
Se divide en dos cuotas. El primer pago aún no se ha hecho.
Bueno, voy a liquidar de regalo.
Permítame revisar. Son 32.724.
É para filho,
2.724 liras.
mas se fala tu, cara!
Una suegra nueva.
Não filho da puta do fogo, pá!
Con servicio de emergencia.
Si quieren pueden ver, están los exámenes de sangre y las radiografías.
No, no quiero. Eso no cambia nada de todos
Não
modos.
passa
¿Cuál es
mal.
su método de pago?
Si es posible, me gustaría hacerle una transferencia.
Claro, en un momento le doy los datos.
De acuerdo. Bien. Y le agradecería que me diga de lo que estoy pagando, por favor.
Le enviaré la factura por mail, ¿de acuerdo?
Gracias.
Más de 32.000 no puede ser. Me estoy volviendo loco.
Estoy desperdiciando mi dinero.
No te preocupes. Tus compañeros te darán la bienvenida y tenemos que ir abajo. ¡Corre! Hola, niños. Hoy les damos la bienvenida a una nueva compañera y amiga. ¿Quieres presentarte con tus compañeros? Hola, me llamo Tilsim Moscan. Niños, denle la bienvenida a Tilsim.
Bienvenida, Tizi.
Hoy te sentarás al lado de Cobra. Así lo haremos hoy, ¿de acuerdo? Vamos. Bueno, hoy tenemos clase de matemáticas. Vamos a trabajar con medidas. ¿Vamos? ¿Todos aquí en sus escuadras? Denis, ya me voy, cariño. Te esperaré en el patio cuando terminen las clases, ¿de acuerdo?
¿Cuándo vas a venir por mí?
Ya te lo dije. Cuando terminen las clases me verás en el patio. Luego iremos juntos a casa, ¿está bien? Estaré muy cerca. Si pasa algo vendré de inmediato, no te preocupes. Pero creo que no será necesario, porque vas a superar el día de hoy. Y cada día será mejor y más fácil. Aprenderás a leer y a escribir, ¿no es emocionante? Aprenderás muchas cosas. Tendrás un gran día, ¿verdad? Verte, cariño. Hey, ¿estás listo para conocer a tus amigos? Lo llevaré conmigo. Muchas gracias, maestra. De nada. Que tenga buen día. Igualmente, maestra. Adiós, Denis.
E aqui ficou bom.
Ah, por favor.
A Sara. Mi, a tua mano a Sara. Mas eu
Pero no tiene cerebro, no puede comprenderlo. Ay, ¿qué hizo mi niña? Ay, qué lindo dibujo son mamá y papá. Qué bien, tu papá parece un hipopótamo. Ay, qué dibujos tan hermosos. Anda, haz otros 3 o 4. Después vamos a hacer unos dibujos nosotras juntas. Los pintaremos más tarde. Tú sigue pintando más, anda, mi amor.
Tienes mucho trabajo.
Ay, es cierto, es pesado. ¿Cómo le estará yendo a Karsu?
Basta, deja de preocuparte, ya se acostumbrará.
Espero que no haya ningún problema. Voy a decirte algo.
achei uma sapatela que vai para no tempo passado.
Deberíamos decirle algo.
¿Qué quieres decirle?
Es enganchar la puerta. Que tú y yo le digamos. Es enganchar la puerta.
Se hicieron buenos amigos.
Es enganchar la puerta.
Hermana, ¿cómo crees que él va a ayudarnos? Le va a decir
Eu
que yo
já
le
no
dije.
meu esqueleto,
Y
não vai
después
com
de eso, Karsu y yo vamos
a
a
relação
pedir
em ferro.
Entonces mejor esperemos un poco.
Sara.
Quizá no pueda con él.
Sara.
Sí, esperemos como dices, hermana.
Olha,
Pero yo te
mas ele
digo,
Ai, que
trabalhar,
bom freio.
no
Não
digas
tem
que
nada.
no se divorcie.
não vai
Sí debes
trabalhar.
hacer. No, pero deberías sacar algo, dinero, un
De
auto,
terça-feira,
una
já
casa,
na semana
deberías-
passada.
Segunda e terça. Trabalhar. Quarta, descalço, quinta, trabalhar outra vez. Isso aí, trabalhar, sábado, trabalhar, sábado, trabalhar. Eu não quero assim.
Estou fraco.
No digas que por ahí vas. No, Akira. Requieren tiempo para recuperarse. Pero seamos cautos. Que no sepan de ese lugar.
Quero
La vecina
comer.
tiene niños. No lo sabrán, no te preocupes. Pero es mejor en
Como
este
más
momento que no sabes. Perdón, saliste
No
anoche
guarde
de
lá.
eso hablo. ¿Estás espiando mi acaso? Jeff te digo.
Não tenho muito.
No mientas.
Mas se você vai, você vai fazer o quê? Não faz nada. Tem tanta comida lá para comer. Vai
Sara.
tanta comida. O frigorífico cheio de comida. Vai fazer comer.
Tem? Tem. Não tem feijoada, não tem massa. Já comeste a massa? Já.
Toda?
Pero me preocupas. Avísame antes de volver a hacer algo como eso, ¿de acuerdo? Y si Karsu llegara a darse cuenta, soy bastante cuidadoso. Tu querida jamás me verá. ¿Querida? ¿Qué fue eso? Querida por toda la gente. Querida vecina. ¿Me vas a seguir viendo así? Es estimada por todos. Por cierto, Jeff ya te empezó un nuevo libro. Es
Não
sobre
foi
la
toda.
Como si
Alex,
Jeff necesitara
ai,
un libro sobre
acho
eso.
que eu trouxe
Ya lo
uma
sabe
fotinha de
todo.
pizza.
Algo de
Não.
igualdad, creo. La
Quiero
sociedad
ver.
y demás. Me duele la cabeza.
Um buraco? Um furo buraco aqui.
Muy bien, Karsu. Debo felicitarte.
Un oscuro
Esto fue
buraco.
muy bien.